Hello.
Hey.
It's Friday. We were just having a good shit talking session. We are starting a cult again on Friday. March
5th.
March 5.
March 5. That's Grand Up Jake. Georgie's here today.
Yeah, we're met with the old man himself.
It is I, and we're here. Today we're celebrating our 100th year episode.
Whoa.
Did I miss that one?
Reword that.
Yeah. 100 years of episodes.
You're right.
Today.
We started this in 1921. We started the show in the year 3021, and we've gone backwards in time, and now we've presented you the 1,000th episode.
Yeah, I was listening to the 100th episode, and I just thought in my head, wouldn't it be a great spin-off show to make a show about reviews on books that you don't read?
What?
Just give a review of something you haven't read, or like a movie. Just give a review. I haven't seen it, but I can tell you this:
Lawrence of Arabia. Never seen it. Too long. I don't want to watch it. I can't stand it.
I love that idea.
We are here to talk to you today about a little fella from the ex-Super Bowl victory situation area. That would be Mr. Bob Berdella. Bobby B.
Bob Berdella.
Robert. Robs. Boobs. Whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you this. Okay. This will be more. This is gonna be a two-parter.
There's a shit ton of stuff.
This is a two-part series. So today we're gonna cover, the how he got to where he was
leading
going.
up,
But I want to say this in the beginning of the show. For part two, there's a documentary that we've watched, and we're probably gonna rewatch together. And I brought it up because you guys are gonna love this. It's called Bazaar. And it was produced and directed by none other than Troma Films. The same people
the wonderful company that brought us Toxie, the Toxic Avenger.
Sergeant Kabuki Man.
Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD.
Poultrygeist, Rabid Grannies, Cannibal the Musical.
Nuke High or something.
Yeah, Class of Nukem High.
Nukem High, yeah.
I want to tell you this. It's very depraved. Do you remember those movies?
A lot of penises.
Do you remember the movies from the mid to late 2000s? The one, it was like an epic movie, and then they had date movie. The spoofs. You know how those films tried to get trashy with their material? Like they wanted it to be kind of crude and in-your-face humor. Well, they could never do it as well as Troma does.
No, that's Troma's forte.
The only thing I'll tell you, we'll talk more about the documentary in part two, but I felt it needed to be mentioned here. There are multiple scenes where a victim reenactment happens, and it is full frontal penis with full frontal ass. And they put some red flecks of blood around the ass to show the torture that they were put through. And they just show it. You
just felt the need to get this out right off the bat.
I did, because you know what?
Everyone needs to know. I went through it, so everyone has to know.
I've never seen... It's really well done, too. They have that... I think his name is James Ellroy. He's the true crime writer. He's like the guy who does it.
Wait, the entire movie?
Yeah, he's the narrator, he's the story person, he's the one doing everything. So they have very credible people in the documentary. It's like a full-blown real documentary. It's just the reenactments are Troma.
Troma's badass.
It's nuts. It's a little lightheartedness before we get into just sad
We get into
life.
Mr. Bob Berdella.
It's Berdella. It's Italian, asshole. Berdella.
He was a serial killer. Right.
Way.
He killed people. This reenactment in the movie. He was a serial killer active between July 6th of 1984 and April 2nd of 1988, during which time he drugged, sodomized, tortured, and murdered at least 6 men.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All the victims were from the fringes of society, usually like drug-addicted men, partaking in sex work. Yeah, or men just generally in trouble with the law.
Okay. I didn't know what to say. So
I was like, all right, well, dead air.
I'll tell you this: it definitely he has a lot of parallels to John Wayne Gacy in many different ways. Just the way he's physically built.
He is a larger man.
The way he kind of acts. In a way, he's perceived in his town as a bit of like the goofball. Everyone knows him.
He's like a character.
So Gacy was never really a jokey character. He was more of just like a guy people were aware of.
I know what you're thinking by the clown stuff,
but Bobby, he was much more of a lack of a better term, he's just the local character. He's not like the local drunk. He's just the local weirdo that just fucking he ran a bazaar shop out of a resale store.
It's true. It's true.
He was just a weird guy.
Let's start from the beginning. How did he get so weird? Robert Andrew Berdella Jr. was born on January 31st of 1949 in Cuyahoga Falls. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
I believe you are. Cuyahoga, yeah.
In Ohio. And the first of two sons had by Robert Berdella Sr. He was a die setter for Ford Motor Company. Pretty all right job. All right. And Mary Berdella. The household was not usually, it was all the time. It was Italian-American and devoutly Catholic. So
Italians and Catholics, their mixture. For some reason, Catholic Italians are the biggest fans of Christopher Columbus. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why. But they are
Really?
just
Why?
adamant Christopher Columbus fans.
Isn't he from Spain?
I don't get I really don't get it. The first I ever heard of that was in The Sopranos. They loved him. And then
maybe he was Italian.
On the news, the last time, when is Columbus Day? I don't even, is that January?
No one cares
I
but
don't
Italians,
fucking know.
it sounds like.
But yeah, like Italians like love it. I don't know why. But Italians and Columbus, they go together like fucking peanut butter and jelly.
I didn't know that. I'm learning stuff every day. He's from Italy, so there we go. We got confirmation.
All right, I guess that makes sense. Why aren't they that crazy about like Chef Boyardee though? Because isn't he from Italy too?
Supposedly, yeah.
He's not a real person.
I think he is.
He's
a real person.
guy, right?
The thing
Wait,
is,
look that up real quick.
I'm pretty confident that Chef Boyardee is a real person. I could be wrong. Maybe he's an amalgamation of fictional cooks.
I don't know.
You know, like Emerald.
The painting of him looks pretty based on a real guy, right?
He's not even a good cook. Like, it's just ravioli or SpaghettiOs. It's
He's
just
fine.
Like,
I'll eat it.
it's so generic. And then the commercials where they had those rapey cans that would follow kids
Yeah, they
home
just
from
follow
the store.
people home.
Hey, he's a real person.
He's
He was
real.
a real guy.
And he's also from Italy.
And he's,
There you go. He's an Italian guy.
I am batting 1,000 tonight. I am just batting 1,000 when it comes to Italian people.
Ettore Hector Boyardee.
Oh, wait, so you gotta say it into the mic. We gotta hear this.
I don't know. It's how do you pronounce Ettore?
Ettore.
Ettore, quotations Hector Boyardee, spelled totally different from the canned ravioli.
Well, yeah, we had to Americanize it, like Boy-R-D.
Yeah, we literally spelled it Boyard and E-E, and his name is spelled B-O-I-A-R-D-I.
Boyardi.
Boyardee.
Chef
Ettore
Boyardi.
Hector Boyardee. He makes a spicy canned ravioli.
He loves the cook.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's get back to the murderer.
On a
Wait,
lesser,
what is-
not
yeah, he was
fun
so he
note.
was Italian American. He's devoutly Catholic.
Probably
so-
a Columbus fan.
Probably a Columbus fan. They probably had a picture or so. But Bob was a bit of a misfit, both at home and at school, right? So at home, his father was the classic 50s father. He occasionally beat his kids with a belt. And he favored the one with a proclivity towards sports. Okay? Classic.
I feel like that still happens nowadays.
Definitely.
Like that is, it's kind of like
that's
average.
a stereotype that just did not go away.
I don't really get it, but hey, to each his own. I
Hey, man.
guess. Play some
Sometimes,
t-ball or some shit. And
yeah.
Daddy will love you.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Unfortunately for Bob, he was not athletic. That went to his younger brother Daniel, who was 7 years younger. his dad like always preferred him. So Bob, in his father's eyes, was a failure. Okay, so
You know what the saddest part is? By the end of this murder spree that would happen later in life, his dad could look back on this and be like, "I made the right decision. I picked
Yeah,
the right kid. I'm glad I didn't love him."
just validates everything he's ever
He's like,
done.
I always thought I was a terrible father until I turned on the news today and saw that my son was a piece of garbage. Now I know I was right.
Oh, what a good man. But so yeah, he was a failure in the eyes of his father. So that was Bob's home life. Okay. School for Bob wasn't much better. Though Bob was intelligent, he had a difficult time in school. Teachers found him difficult to teach due to his aloofness, but his aloofness came from his home life, as well as bullying from other kids, because he was a childhood bully's dream victim. Okay, he was overweight, he had a speech impediment, he had like these thick-ass Coke bottle glasses, due to severe nearsightedness. What was that, Georgie?
And killers, that's what I
And killers.
I like
And
that.
killers.
That's
Nice.
New. That's new.
But yeah, so he was a weird-looking kid. He was a funny-looking guy. He didn't have a great time as a child, right? However,
Yeah,
Bob...
I mean, how fat, blind, like stuttering people often do struggle a bit.
getting whipped by his dad for not
Can't
running.
I can't even imagine why he was picked on.
Yeah, no way. But yeah, so he did find a semi-social outlet in writing letters to pen pals around the world. It was through his letter writing with foreign individuals that he began collecting stamps and other oddities that he'd received from them. All right, so he's starting to collect things. He's got like a hobby. What's collecting stamps? Is that philately?
It's
Philately?
boring. I don't know.
It is boring, but
See, stamps
it's got
are
a fun name.
Stamps are such a dumb thing to collect to me because, like,
You're not
if
a philateller?
I'm sorry if you guys are stamp collectors. I'm not judging you, but for me personally, I don't understand it because you aren't collecting it for anything other than to look at, really, or have. So why wouldn't you collect things that are more interesting? You know,
Well, what do you collect? Movies?
I don't
That
really
thing that you
collect
just collect
anything.
and look at?
I have deposits of things that if they
What do you
were to
have
disappear,
deposits of?
like movies, CDs, but if they were gone, you know what? It'd be. I'm not a true collector because I wouldn't be upset if they were gone.
All right.
But like, I don't know. I just don't get it.
You
It's
just
like
view it as clutter.
it's kind of the same with me as like baseball cards. It's like, yeah, we get it, but like, how often? It's not like
I
the
have so many
stats are ever
fucking
going to
baseball
change.
cards, yeah.
You know, why do you need them?
No, it is true. Anyway, yeah, he collected stamps and a bunch of odd shit from around the world. It was around his teen years, when he hit puberty, that he realized that he was a homosexual man. All right, he kept that to himself for several years.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's already the target of bullying at this time. That's
And it's the
not good.
60s, you know, come on. Or 50s. 50s or 60s. What year is this?
oh, this is 2000.
It's the 60s. It's the 60s. But, so yeah, in his teen years, though he briefly had a girlfriend in his early teens, as Bob grew and developed, he grew to develop a very rude and condescending attitude, which came out mostly when interacting with women. So he was just being very catty.
That makes sense. I kind of get it. You know, I mean, you hate the stereotype, but back in the day, it was a lot more common for spousal abuse. 99% of the time against the women. So it'd be honestly a guy that's already suffering abuse probably doesn't know the best way to interact with humans.
Yeah,
you know?
probably not. Probably not.
Doesn't understand the cadence of living a life.
It's
But
true.
it's fine.
So he was slowly building a sense of like self-confidence, right? And through his discovery of cooking as an extracurricular, he developed a sense of like showmanship. So he was starting to present things, you know. And but just as Bob was coming into his own and developing confidence in any sense, a life-changing event happened on the evening of Christmas Day of 1965. Bob's father had a fatal heart attack in Canton, Ohio, while his family was visiting relatives. He was 39. Right?
It's young.
It's very young.
It's a bit young. I'd call it a tragedy.
Yeah. Oh, so he never got to look back and know he was right about his son.
Yeah, he did from
so
hell.
sad. From hell. Nice. Yeah, so what else happened? Though his father never approved of him and abused him to a degree, both physically and mentally, this was a huge blow to Bob, right? So this event led to Bob seeking solace in religion, but unfortunately this deep dive into religious study also led to Bob becoming skeptical of every faith that he read about.
It's funny because if you go on the internet, that's almost the exact origin story of every single person on the internet. And they're all so unique. You know?
Yes. Just
they're all so unique.
delicate
No one else
flowers.
has done it. He was doing
They
this
need to
shit
be
in the
nurtured.
60s. He was reading books, okay? He wasn't going on blog posts.
And another thing that didn't help this situation was that Bob's mother remarried pretty shortly after her father's death. And he developed a deep resentment for her due to this and began regressing to his childhood reclusiveness.
Okay,
He
okay.
starts going back in.
He used to hang out with, his old stuffed animals, his little blankie boo.
It's like, you know what? I know it's been a while since a tea party.
He'd suck on his thumb and maybe play with that old school G.I. Joe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, that's maybe a little bit later. Maybe not the 60s.
When did G.I. Joes come out?
I'm not sure, but
He's
I
on
know
it.
the boom was like around the 70s. Those are like a lot of the collector's editions are from the 70s-ish. But I would imagine they've been around quite a while. I can't see them not being around in the 60s.
I can't imagine.
I mean,
G.I. Joe's not
it's just
existing.
64. So, yeah.
It could have happened, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, all right. What am I doing? Though Bob's childhood and teen years were heavily influenced by his father, there were two other major events that I would argue stand out the most when it comes to the path Bob's life later took. The first would be his viewing of the 1965 film adaptation of John Fowles' book, The Collector.
That's a good-ass fucking movie.
Is it?
Not
I've
gonna
never
lie.
seen it.
Oh, it's good.
But, yeah, all right, so for those who aren't familiar, I didn't watch it, but I looked up the little synopsis. All right, it's basically a story of a young English man who stalks, abducts, and holds captive a young female art student who eventually dies in the basement of his farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob claims that he claimed later in life that this movie spoke to him on a very deep level, right? It had
That
much
movie
to
shouldn't
do.
fucking speak
No, it
to
should
you.
not. He said it pretty much gave him the ideas for all the fantasies he carried out thereafter.
I had a different life. When I was a kid, it was like Ferris Bueller's Day Off really spoke to me. It
Yeah.
was like, that is the life.
The Jimmy Neutron movie, I was just like, this does something for
This
me.
guy's watching someone abduct a woman and tie her up and leave her in
He's
the
like,
basement. He's
hey,
like-
that
he
looks pretty
watches
good.
Misery and he's like, "Oh, you know what? This is the best porno I've ever seen."
It's
like,
like,
oh, this
Jesus,
isn't a
man.
this isn't a porn, sir. He's like, are you sure about that?
It's like,
It's really doing it for me.
explain why I can't stand up. But all right, so the second event that I would say, it was an experience that he underwent at one of his first jobs. Right, one day while working as a line cook at a local restaurant in Ohio,
Just like Georgie used
just like
to do.
Georgie, just like me, sort of now. Bob was raped by a coworker, so that's not good.
That is a gut punch. I don't even know.
Just while he was like still in high school, he's still a kid. He was just working
Oh.
as a line cook. One of his fucking coworkers raped him. Yeah,
oh man,
not good.
that's intense.
I don't know why at work, Georgie. Why anywhere? You know, I mean, but
No, the bigger question is why at work.
I don't know.
The boss. No, I can't.
I mean,
I hope he got fired. I mean, please.
yeah, I
that-
would very much hope that he got
Is
fired.
that too much to ask for?
Or at least, or Bob maybe quit. That would be another solution there. But though he would later tell psychiatrists that this event had little to no effect on him, it's pretty safe to say that this had a very negative effect on his psyche.
Yeah, anytime that any of these people that commit crimes like this, when people tend to go back into their life and they pinpoint a certain event that happened or day or something that they think might have been a catalyst for behavior, whenever they deny it, like just outright, no, that had nothing to do with it.
No, I didn't really think much of that.
You
It's
know
like,
that
that's like a huge, very scarring thing to have to go through. And he's like, no.
When they deny
No,
it,
couldn't be that.
whenever they deny it, that means to me that is one of the biggest things
Oh, of
that
course, yeah.
made him do it.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right. So all that stuff happened. Not good for Bob. It was 2 years after this event that Bob graduated from Cuyahoga Falls High School, and he enrolled in the Kansas City Art Institute in Missouri.
No, it's
So he's-
Missouri.
Missouri, sorry, the
Missouri.
Missouri. So he moved out there. It was there that he discovered for the first time the hippie lifestyle, and he fucking hated it. He did not like it.
See, to me, like, I mean, I never lived in the age of the true hippie.
I'd imagine it'd be a little overwhelming.
I can't really imagine myself outright despising hippies, even if I wasn't a
look
fan.
at that one. It's not wearing shoes.
Really?
like,
To me, even if I wasn't a true fan of the hippie lifestyle, I'd just be like, that's not for me. But, like, you hear so many people that are just like, I fucking hate hippies. It's like, why, man? Like, why do you hate them so much?
oh, God.
Oh, hippies get no love.
Hippies
except
get
from
no
other
love.
hippies, and that's how they get diseases.
There you go. But so he started out with an aspiration of becoming a professor from the school, but he quickly became known for his drug dealing around campus because he didn't like it, but he didn't like the lifestyle, but he supplied them the drugs.
Hell yeah, you don't shit where you eat. You know, if you don't like drugs, you're the best drug dealer there is.
It's true.
You have no risk of ruining your overhead.
Yeah. There are some dangers though, because when Bob was 19, he was arrested for trying to sell meth to an undercover officer.
Man, that's just...
You can't do that.
That's just unfortunate.
Yeah, right.
Like, man, where do you... Oh, I have so many questions, Bob.
So he posted the $3,000 bail, and he pled guilty, and he only got 5 years suspended sentence, which basically just probation, right? But 1 month later, he was arrested again with two fellow students, and this time it was for possession of weed and LSD. And
No, sir, that's just paper. I take my notes on that
that's my
paper.
normal everyday paper.
Like, sir, that paper is the size of your fingertip. I write my
It's
notes.
like, yeah,
on.
I write pretty small.
You know when you go to, like, the state fair and there's that guy that writes your name on a grain of rice? That's how I take my notes. I have to
How
put
do you
them...
transfer that? Does he like put it in a bag, or you have to just like put it loose in your pocket?
Yeah, I don't know. You just eat
Is
it.
it in like a little case? You just
It's
eat
just- it's
make
just-
it for dinner.
It's just rice. I don't know. You just fucking eat it.
Nice. But yeah, so the three spent 5 days in jail. But luckily for Bob and one of the classmates, the charges were dropped due to lack of evidence. So he lucked the fuck out.
I told you.
He would have gone to
They
fucking
pled that
prison.
it was just notebook paper, and they got away.
Just like, he successfully wrote down his name on the ass.
This one has a Grateful Dead bear on it. I don't know about that. Like, no, it's fine.
It says Homer Simpson with tie-dye eyes.
His face is melting.
So getting into trouble with the law wasn't the only thing that Bob was busy with at this time. So he was at art school. So he partook in creating some art and performance pieces. Let's go through a few of Bob's art pieces, okay? So these are
Well, hold on.
interesting.
You can't see the air quotes around art.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, who are we to say? You know what? Let's let
you
the
be the
listeners
judge.
decide. All right.
You guys are the judge.
All right. So for the first one of his performance pieces, he made students and teachers stand on a chair with bags over their heads, and then Bob would walk up to each one and scream obscenities in their face for long periods of time.
That just sounds like Festivus to people that don't want to partake in it. Just like
So
the
he's
literal
just-
screaming at someone's face.
Just screaming their fucking heads off.
Just fuck you. Just, oh.
And so the next noteworthy art piece was a small maze. Those that entered the maze were handed a small baby chick. And at the end of the maze, there was a short film that was looping on a screen. And the short film depicted a baby chick just pecking away at some food on the ground. And suddenly, and without warning, the chick is shot with a shotgun by someone off screen. And the gunshot is like loud as fuck. So the people that are holding the baby chicks in real life involuntarily squeeze and kill the chicks. So he created just, yeah.
Air quote,
an
art.
An art situation where you can just kill chickens.
I'll tell you this. I went to art school, and I
So
don't
did
think
I. I was there with you.
I don't think they would approve that in any way, shape, or form.
No one liked it. Absolutely
I'll
no
tell you
one
what,
liked
though,
this.
you got to be honest with yourself. I mean, as dark as it is, it'd be interesting to see.
He would stand at the end of the maze and just watch people doing it.
It would be.
He's like, I know, oh, it's going to happen right now.
I'd want to be the guy with the gun.
Yeah, that would probably be the best job.
Actually, I don't know. You feel the worst. You're the only
maybe
one
you got to eat it
voluntarily
afterward.
killing.
Nah. Yeah.
Yeah, but can you really shoot a chicken with a shotgun and then
It's
eat
eviscerated. Yeah, it's gone.
I don't want to eat that shit.
So yeah, he would stand at the end of the maze. He loved it, and no one else found his work very good. In fact, they were deeply disturbed by it. This, however, didn't change how Bob felt about his work. He maintained that all throughout this time at the Art Institute, that the problem was everyone else, and that his work was too challenging.
What was the guy's name in Catcher in the Rye?
Holden Caulfield.
Yeah, Holden Caulfield. I feel like he is living the life that Holden Caulfield lived.
No one understands me.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys are all just phony
I read the word
idiots.
fuck carved into a stairway, and I got so enraged.
Yeah,
It's like, what?
He is quite
Shut up.
literally the reincarnation of Holden Caulfield.
Pretty much. So for his last art piece, the final art piece that he did, it was a performance piece. He brought a duck to the courtyard of the campus, chopped its head off, and started dancing and chanting nonsense.
That's
Art.
just.
This is art.
I'll tell you this.
Don't you dare laugh.
It's art when he does it, but when I do it, I'm arrested because I'm defacing public property. So I don't understand.
So where'd you get that duck? Did he catch that duck, or did he buy it? What do you think happened with
Where
that
do you even
duck?
buy a duck, though? I mean, I've been
Where
to a
would you
lot
buy
of
a
pet
duck?
stores, and I don't think you could just buy ducks.
I'll get you a duck.
I can get you a duck.
I'll
Get you a duck by
right
2
now.
p.m.
But at least he took it home and ate it that night, so that's
No, that's the
a
real
bit
art.
better, I guess.
The art of cooking.
Yeah, there you go. Culinary stuff coming
Culinary
into play.
aphrodisiacs, baby.
Yeah. So though the administration of the college was not too thrilled at all by Bob's art, he wasn't kicked out of the Kansas City Institute. He dropped out voluntarily in 1969.
Isn't that what they say about Michael Jordan, too? He voluntarily retired from
Oh, yeah,
basketball.
totally.
Yo, okay, buddy, I believe
Yeah,
you.
but Michael Jordan was a misunderstood genius, unlike Bob, who thought he was, but
Bob
he
is
just totally wasn't.
misunderstanding his own genius.
He's a fucking idiot. So Bob then put down a $100 down payment on a home in Westport, Missouri.
When's the last fucking time that someone could do
$100
that?
down payment, and this was not a small house. It was 3 stories with an attic.
I could go buy a house right now for that kind of money, but that's I can't even. You can barely buy a new shovel for that kind of money.
You can't. Not a good one. But it was 4315 Charlotte Street, and this is where all of his crimes would be carried out, right? So he began working as either a manager or a chef at a bunch of different fine dining restaurants around the city. He proved to have he was extremely talented in the restaurant business, though no one job would ever last very long due to his insistence on saying incredibly dark and disgusting things to anyone that would listen for the sake of being shocking. That's why he said he did it.
I get it. I've met people. I've both met people like this, and I've been that guy. And
But it's costing him a job multiple times.
I can't imagine anyone I've ever met or myself ever doing that in a public setting, let alone at a place that is paying my rent. You know?
Yeah.
You really.
He's just a pretentious art school dick who grosses people out to the point where they want to fire him.
Yeah, you got to keep your. Bobby Boy is not doing too hot.
Not really. But so really, these things, they just produce secondhand embarrassment to everyone present whenever he would say them.
He's like the Michael Scott of serial killers.
Pretty much.
He just makes you uncomfortable.
Imagine if Michael Scott was who he was in the show, but he also killed people.
That'd be great. It'd be like Dexter.
It'd be a
but
great
instead
like
of
fanfic
Dexter, it's
thing, yeah.
him.
Oh my god. But though at this point in Bob's life, he kind of stopped caring what people, thought. He didn't care about their opinions. Throughout the 70s, Bob spent his money that he made from his restaurant business jobs on oddities from around the world, like primitive artwork. He had a bunch of shrunken heads, all sorts of occult artifacts, skulls, etc. He just had a bunch of shit in this house.
Pretty much anything you could find on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disney World. That's the type of shit he would sell.
Yeah, that's Bob's house. But he also came out openly as a gay man, which was no small feat at the time.
Cool.
So good for him.
Him and Harvey Milk were some of the only two doing that at that time.
There you go. So in 1981, Bob quit the restaurant business, however, for good, okay, to open up his own antique shop full of the oddities that he'd collected over the years. He rented an area in the Westport Flea Market and named his shop Bob's Bizarre Bazaar.
Hence the documentary
Hence
title.
the documentary. Are we going to watch that tonight?
Probably not tonight.
We should rewatch it.
But no, we'll definitely. I'll watch it again because it was weird.
We got to see it, and you should too. Everyone should look it up.
You get to see the flea market. It's not what you think a flea market really is. It's more of just like a large building with a bunch of booths in it.
Oh, a business?
Kind of, yeah.
It sounds like a business.
See, to me, when you say the word flea market, I think of like a large open space with some people in tents, some people with just tables.
Yeah, it's like a fair, but
yeah,
you don't. Yeah.
No, this was a lot more. It was weird. It was kind of like a Goodwill that you could just rent a booth at almost.
Kind of cool, man.
I would go to a store
pocket
like
all the
that.
money, no taxes. Are there taxes?
Like
a normal one, if you just like.
It's a full cash business,
Hell yeah! All right. Well, this was wonderful for Bob. He was finally doing something that with his life that he felt he should be doing. However, as some could imagine, Bob's Bizarre Bazaar very rarely made enough money to cover the mortgage payments on his house each month.
I can't believe Kansas City is not flooded with people that want to buy shrunken heads.
I could believe it.
I mean, I might buy one if I ever saw one just to own it.
Just like the novelty of the store itself.
Yeah, but I would never.
I went to a store,
it.
sort of. Me and Mitch went to a store in like Tennessee. It was kind of like that. Remember that goth, like all that goth stuff. They didn't have that huge. Yes, a stuffed tiger. They had a stuffed giraffe. It was crazy. Anyway, I don't think it was the bazaar.
No, that was just the mildly bizarre bazaar.
There you go. But he wasn't making much money. So though his house was full of all these oddities he'd collected over the years, as well as the general disarray and filth of a hoarder, like stacks of newspapers, like countless garbage bags of clothes and fabric and rotting trash, as well as a few dogs running around who were always just openly shitting and pissing in the house, he began renting out rooms in the house to sustain house payments.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds gross. And a large reason why the house was in such disarray was the fact that Bob really only ever spent time in the attic. He'd venture out to get like...
safe.
Yeah, right?
It's safe.
But the smell rises, though. That's not good. So he'd occasionally like venture out for food or like to use the bathroom or something. But aside from that, he was like always up in the attic. So he was renting out these rooms to young men who were in and out of trouble with the law, whether it be like addiction, prostitution, or the like. Bob used this fact to build a reputation around town as sort of like a philanthropist. He's like, oh, he's taking in all these troubled boys, giving them somewhere to live,
It's like a foster care for people that are going to die.
Pretty much.
That is not safe.
It's not good. It's kind of dangerous. But the neighbors thought he was a weirdo, but they looked at that as kind of noble, so they were just like, all right, he's all right. But in reality, yes, he was exchanging rent money for a place to live, but this apparently also implied that the tenants slept with Bob regularly.
Sexually.
Yeah. And if Bob built up trust with one of these guys, they'd be sent out to the streets to recruit other young men to come back to the house to party. Party at Bob's house.
Hold on. It's like organized crime for sex. It's just the sodomy mafia. That's all it is.
The sodomy mafia. Wow.
That's like what he's like. You're my new guy. Come here. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna find me some new people to party, air quotes, with.
Party. There's enough drugs there. You know, they got the drugs. They got all the oddities. They got boys.
Ooh, that is odd.
There you go. So partying translated into Bob drugging them, having sex with them, and sending them off to the streets again.
Okay.
So maybe you don't want to party.
Yeah, those aren't.
Maybe you don't go there.
No.
Lots of red flags, I'd say.
That's like if a registered sex offender throws a child's birthday party in their yard. You shouldn't go. Even if you're invited, and just politely decline.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably good to go by.
Politely decline. You don't want to set that person off, you know?
They're just a lit fuse.
You don't want to shake that boat, I promise.
Oh, God. So, the partying, we all know what that means, red flags. So this sort of activity came to a head on the day of July 5th, 1984. And this is the first murder.
The first
Grant.
murder, you
So
say.
19-year-old Jerry Howell.
Mr.
Right?
Howell.
Mr. Howell. He's 19. He was the son of a fellow flea market merchant who Bob had known for years. He began sleeping with Bob pretty regularly. Okay. One night, however, Jerry didn't want to have sex. You know?
How dare he?
Like you do sometimes, you just don't want to.
Yeah, sometimes you're just fucking, I don't know, tired. You don't want to.
Just not in the mood. So Bob pumped Jerry full of Valium, acipromazine, which is like an animal tranquilizer, and booze in order to tie him down and rape him.
Okay.
So there we go. And throughout this whole ordeal, Bob took meticulous notes, like in like a journal, of everything that he did to Jerry. The control Bob had in this situation was euphoric for him, and taking these notes was to relive it later in perfect detail. So he noted the exact amount of substances that he'd given Jerry, as well as the names, and he noted each position that he'd raped him in, using acronyms such as FF for front fuck,
Okay.
BF for butt fuck, and
Oh.
CF for carrot fuck.
Okay.
Because he used vegetables pretty often.
That's a frog fuck. That's when you bring in a frog, right? You just kind of let him go buck wild on
Froggies.
the asshole. You just party. You just have fun.
Yeah.
Now, what's a DF?
There's no DF.
Are you shitting me?
It's F, B, and C. And C is carrot fuck. But he also used cucumbers, but the acronym still works.
See, you got to get more creative. It can't.
He's just taking notes, man. He's not trying to make an opus with this.
I don't like that he sticks to only the phallic-shaped vegetables. How about a?
Your critique is that he's not being weird enough.
What about a
in
honeydew?
these actions?
An HF, a honeydew fuck. I'm gonna kiwi fuck you so bad.
How many kiwis?
Shove
my
this tomato right up your asshole.
Okay, all right. We're still in the middle. This is a very sad thing.
That's how ketchup's
We're still in the middle. So the whole event, he took Polaroid photographs throughout the entire thing. And
I picture him like Austin Powers in the what was that, the second one when he's taking the pictures? He's like, "You're a cat now. You're a cat now. You're angry at me." It's just like a corpse. He's like, "All right, now you're sad. Play sad." Just getting really into it.
God.
His neighbors are like, "Man, what the fuck is this guy doing?"
Jesus, yeah, he was taking pictures. He was enjoying himself.
Probably
So,
masturbating. I have no evidence.
He
to
definitely
support
got off a few times. So the whole event, from start to finish, took about 28 hours until Jerry eventually died. It's speculated that this was either due to drugs in his system or the gag in his mouth, blocking vomit from his throat, ultimately suffocating him. Either way, he's dead. Bob then dragged the body to the basement, hung it from a support beam, and made incisions in the jugular vein.
Like Jesus.
And then he placed a large pot underneath him from the kitchen. And he did all this while still taking more pictures, more photographs. He then left to go tend to his bazaar, because it was Saturday and that was a very busy flea market day. He couldn't miss out on that payday.
Obviously,
He had to get the bag.
That's where the money's at, you know. You fuck Wednesdays. You don't deal with that shit on
What was
Wednesday.
going on Wednesdays to flea markets?
Saturdays when the shrunken head business goes through the roof. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So he then came home after a hard day's work. He put on one of his aprons from his culinary days, and he proceeded to dismember Jerry's body. To do this, he primarily used butcher knives, though he removed...
In his own teeth, like a beaver.
That could be.
A BF, a beaver fuck.
Oh, God. No, BF is butt fuck. We've already established
A
this.
BBF is a beaver butt fuck.
Okay, all right. There we go. So he used butcher knives for most of it. But to remove the head from the spine, what do you think he used?
Nail clippers.
All right. Garden shears.
Ask the question one more time.
All right.
Let me think. I'm making time
he used
happen.
knives primarily.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then to remove the head
Yeah.
from the spine,
I'm
what do you use?
gonna go with something weird, okay? And I'm gonna go with a hammer. I don't think that's the
That
answer.
would be a process,
but
man.
I'm thinking he's weird enough to do it that
Like
way.
a claw hammer, like a ball peen.
Just a
One
regular,
is way easier than the other.
Just a regular old hammer, you know.
All right. Well, it was a chainsaw. He cut the head
That's
off the
too
spine
easy.
with a
It's
chainsaw.
too easy.
See, I fooled you. All right, but anyway, he used the chainsaw. He cut off the head. Once this whole morbid ordeal was through, Bob wrapped up the body parts in newspaper, which he then placed in trash bags. And then he placed those in empty dog food bags. And then he placed those in garbage bags. And then he placed those in the cans. And then he placed the cans at the curb.
And then
So
he placed
he
the
just
curb.
threw Jerry out. He threw out Jerry.
He just did. That was such a long explanation. But he threw him in the dumpster.
Yeah, he put Jerry's body out for the Monday morning garbage pickup. So Howell's family realized that Jerry was missing, and they immediately suspected Bob Berdella because they knew that they were close. They knew that they'd been fighting, and they knew that Bob was a weird fucking guy.
I don't
So they
think
were like,
it's that weird.
"This is not good."
This is Kansas City normal, from what I hear.
Kansas City's a weird place. It sounds like, man. I loved it.
I
when
shouldn't
was there,
talk too bad about Kansas
I
City.
love
don't know
Kansas
enough.
City.
I've only been there a couple times, maybe once or twice.
I've been
It was
there
all
once.
right. I was there. I remember the last time I was there, we were playing with fireworks, and we accidentally threw a smoke bomb, and it went into some guy's car, and we left.
Hell yeah.
We were
Classic
children.
Kansas City.
It was
Don't
not.
even worry about it.
If that was you, I'm very sorry. I'm sorry.
Can you imagine? We get an email.
You fucking asshole! You ruined my Jaguar. Like, I didn't know what kind of car it was. I swear.
Yeah. So they knew all this. So they were just like, police, you got to do something. But the police, they did absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah,
and
just
they
like the
claimed,
police.
they claimed there was no evidence. They did absolutely nothing in attempts to find any, and they said that Jerry would just turn up. And with that, Bob Berdella has gotten away with his first murder.
Indeed, he has.
He has. It's gone. It's dead. Jerry's at the curb.
That's a good song title.
Jerry's at the
It's a good
curb.
song.
Jerry's life was absurd.
In the last couple
And
hours,
I
yeah.
don't.
That wasn't good.
Fuck you, bro. You do.
Oh, yeah?
I'm talking like a sim.
Now do a French accent.
Did Charlie Brown have a dad?
I don't think so. Maybe.
I mean,
all
he
the parents were just like tuba, not tuba,
Trombones.
trombones.
With like the
trombones with the plunger.
wah 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 wah. So wah 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 wah.
So we're at this point.
But I mean, Bob.
Bob wasn't.
Bob's a rapist.
Yeah.
He's a killer.
There's proof of it.
Um,
And
It sounded like you're about to
hey, you know what? He went on. This is just the end of this first episode.
he's a rapist. He's a killer. He's a torturer. He's a rapist. I had nothing else
Jesus,
to say.
what are you?
You know, like that Steve Miller song. I'm
Joker?
a joker. I'm a
that's
smoker.
all you say.
I'm a midnight stroker.
Oh God, Bob Berdella. Yeah.
So-
he did a bunch of other shit. We're gonna talk about that next week.
Oh yeah. No, part 2 we're gonna
It's
cover
not over.
the crimes and spoiler alert, the end of the crime spree. But as Jake mentioned earlier, the one thing that kind of separates him from others is the fact he really took a lot of notes about everything.
Like
he
a
did.
lot of like an alarming amount.
Almost every victim that was accounted for, we know he did it and exactly what he did because of notes and pictures from before, during, and after the killings / torturing, whatever you may call it.
He had like hundreds of Polaroids when they found him,
Yeah, and
and they're all just under his bed.
one interesting little tidbit is that there were upwards of 46 other unsolved murders in the Kansas City area during his crime spree. And a lot of people, the prosecutors included, believe that it might have been him,
Yeah.
but there's no way to connect him to that. So I think you mentioned it earlier. I think it's 6 was the
Yeah,
number.
they locked down 6,
Yeah,
and
that's-
he only got tried for the murder of 2 and the violent torture and sexual assault of the other 4.
Yeah, so this guy,
Though they are dead too.
this guy's making a name for himself in the KC area. Georgia, you're here. Give me your thoughts on this. You've been sitting
What do you
here.
think of Bob Berdella?
You've been soaking in the butter that is Bob Berdella's story. Hit me with it.
Well, he just sounds like the greatest guy. No, this guy sounds awful.
He's like, he sounds like an amazing man. I would
All right,
love to meet him.
I don't know if I wasn't paying. Well, I wasn't paying attention. But did you say something about the Super Bowl right at the beginning?
Yeah, Kansas City.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
there
I was like,
is-
this guy's in the Super Bowl.
there is. I'll go into it next week, but I'll give you a little interesting story. But by the end, when he's getting caught, that's 88, I believe. He in Bob's Bazaar, he was selling for what he claimed were human skulls, called the Final Four, because the NCAA tournament was happening in Kansas City, and he was trying to drum up some business. And they have almost 100% proof that at least 2 of them were, in fact, human skulls that he was selling.
Yeah, a lot of people bought skulls from his bazaar.
Yeah,
And a lot of them kind of freaked out when this broke.
yeah, because it turns out that a couple of them were real.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that more.
We
next
will.
week,
That'll be
but
next week. But
I didn't
so
wanna
we got
make you
one
wait.
murder down, and you know what made him that way.
Well, I don't think.
Shrunken heads may have been real.
I don't know.
How do you
honestly-
shrink a head?
I don't know the art of shrunken head,
We gotta look that up.
like pickled.
If anyone knows how to shrink a head, email us and tell us.
If you do, can you like do that for us?
That would be sick. Do you have like a guy?
You have a head shrinking guy.
Do you have to supply the...
How much is the labor cost on shrinking a head? Do I have to pay for my own formaldehyde, or does that come included?
We should shrink heads.
Drink heads. I don't like the sound of that
Oh,
remotely.
God.
So do you guys think it was art?
I cannot hear you at all.
Forgive me, jeez.
No.
Do you guys think it was art? Wasn't there an art story that came out like last year about some woman letting people like smack her and whip her with belts and stuff as an art statement?
Yeah, I believe that was a performance.
I feel
art
like
piece.
is that like a regular thing? I feel like that's happened more than once.
Yeah. Performance art is
Performance
fucking,
art's crazy, man.
I think
it's really interesting to see.
at the risk of alienating our performance art lovers out there, to me, is a good chunk of this weirder performance art is really just a facade to be your weird self, and just let people see that.
It's like I wonder if people will be polite about this.
Yeah, it's like I understand that maybe it's art, but like if you're gonna stand nude in front of a group of 200 people and just let them throw batteries at you, That's not really art to me. I don't get the
Well, it could
artistic
be. It
value.
depends on what it symbolizes, why you're doing it, you know?
I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking? Because Bob kind of later goes on to blame like his actions on like media TV. He said, yeah, like the Collector, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like his art piece, the one with the maze and the chickens, and they accidentally killed the chickens. I was thinking that could be like a metaphor for him. He's like, I saw this movie and I didn't want to do it, but I did it involuntarily. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Sense.
I'd get an
I
A
can get
in
down
art
on that.
school.
That's an interesting little
I don't know.
little workaround there.
That's
like
what I
it.
was just thinking. Maybe it was a cry for help, but he didn't really even think it was.
I'm going to throw in this is completely unrelated to Bob Berdella, but speaking of blaming the media for, or not necessarily the media, but blaming entertainment as a whole for crime. I don't know if you guys know this, but apparently Chicago is currently trying to ban the Grand Theft Auto video game series because they've had such a spike in carjackings lately in the city.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
That
totally.
they are 100% adamantly trying to make it illegal to
Wait.
own Grand Theft Auto, the video game.
Why?
But it's been out since the 90s.
It's been out
It
for
doesn't
so
matter.
long.
It doesn't matter. Video games turn people into rapists
Dude, what
and murderers.
the fuck is going on in Chicago,
What
dude?
game
They got...
were you a rapist in?
the game that teaches you how to get away with crime. You know,
you run away, you go home, you sleep.
I hate
Save
that-
game.
I hate that shit. People are like, so this is my thought. They're like, if playing violent video games makes you violent, wouldn't playing sports games make you athletic?
Oh, it's a whole different
I
thing.
play a lot of Madden and I still can't walk. So something here is not adding
Wait,
up.
you can't walk?
Something here
I thought
is
you were
not.
just exhausted.
I'm perpetually tired. I'm just consistently agonizingly exhausted. I can't move. But that's my thought is if violent video games are going to make someone become violent, why wouldn't we just have them play happy video games?
Well, like Chia Pets or something?
Those are not video games.
You're
Those
right.
Are physical
what am I thinking
objects.
of? It's like a little like egg-shaped thing.
The Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi. That's what I thought. I thought it was Chia Pets, but I'm like, no, that's the stupid fucking busts of whoever.
Like, yeah, I play so much NBA 2K20 that I'm gonna be in the NBA next year.
My layup is...
It's fucking
Needs work.
wicked gnarly. I don't get it. It's stupid. So if you blame video games for your problems, you're a fucking idiot.
Dude, what's going on with Chicago, man? Like, they're doing that. They got the, like, 6 mile an hour over the speed limit, like, guns now at, like, intersections and shit.
Chicago's essentially that guy from your high school that got really addicted to heroin and started asking to borrow shit so he could sell it and just, like, have money. That's what Chicago's doing
It's
as
funny
a
how
state.
very specific that description was. Yeah.
That's
Yep, it's almost like that.
That's what Illinois is doing as a state. They're just like, in what ways can we make life for our people miserable and make money in the process? It's a shithole. Illinois is a shithole. I'm sorry to say it. It just is.
I wouldn't say Illinois.
It's
I'd
not
say Chicago.
terrible.
Yeah, but Chicago is so big that it speaks for Illinois. You know.
It's the coolest city in the Midwest, so you could live so far away from it and still say, like, yeah, I'm from Chicago.
See, I would disagree.
I'm not saying you can, but a lot of people do.
No. If I had to pick the coolest city in the Midwest, I'm going Milwaukee. I love Milwaukee.
True, but
They
it's
are
not
just
nearly
fun.
big enough.
No, it's too. That's why I like it though, because it's nice. It's small.
Exactly. See, we're not necessarily city folk.
No, I'm
I like the city. I lived there, and I
quasi
wouldn't mind
city.
living there again. But
I like I see. To me, I love the idea of using a car to go to a store, as opposed to like a bus or a train. I really love the freedom that cars give.
yeah, cars are cool.
And I mean, the city's a cool place to go, but
A lot of people are mean.
it smells like pee. There's a lot of people that just suck. I went to school there for 4 years. I saw countless people masturbating. I saw countless
What kind
piles of human
street were
shit.
you on?
I saw naked people that were unwittingly naked just walking around that probably haven't bathed in months.
You're making it sound like Skid Row everywhere.
It was gross. There was some shit that was just fucking gross. It was like, oh, dude, that guy peed on the building we went to school in.
Yeah, that's where all my classes
He
were.
whipped
yeah.
his dick out and pissed on the door.
But at least we got out. That was right after our class.
Yeah, we didn't have to go through the pee. But
Yeah, we didn't have to, trek the river.
it's like, it has its charm. I am in no way saying cities don't have their
I
charm.
love the city.
It definitely is a nice place. It's fun to go and walk around. They have a lot of cool shit to see. But if you get on the weird block, it's
It's
over.
beautiful if you just look straight up, but then you're going to get robbed.
Yeah, and you're going to get stabbed. That was always, I remember, there was always those moments of, like, getting out of class, and I'd be waiting for you or Mitch or someone, and I'd just be sitting there, just, like, on Michigan Avenue, like, looking at my phone. And then the realization would hit me. I'd be like, it is pitch black out here.
Yeah,
I'd come
get
here
you at like 9:30
Like, this
at
is
night.
fucked up. I'm just like, I don't like this. I'm getting out of here. But I never died. But people did touch me. They touched my hair.
Yeah, I didn't like that lady.
That was weird. She was trying to rub me, and I didn't want any part of it.
I was like, can you not do that?
I just wanted to go to class. I just wanted to learn.
I'm just trying to learn.
And she was, oh. Okay,
Anyway,
with all that being said.
we are starting a cult. That was Grant up, Jake. George was here. And that was great. He still is here, unfortunately.
For how long, though?
Unfortunately.
I don't know. But, no, yeah, so follow us on all the shit. We got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also have Twitter. We have an email, startacult@gmail.com. We also have Patreon. There's a link below. Go in there. We have cool stuff on there. We have shirts. We have episodes that are exclusively me and Grant talking about shit
True.
that you can't hear on the main.
True.
The Mothman paper.
The Mothman. That's on the regular feed, man.
Oh, that's on the regular one?
That was it's you and me on there.
Well, go back and listen to that one.
That's a
because
fun one.
It's a good one. It's really mean when you go listen to it.
It's a
really,
short little read.
Yeah, we're really digging into this guy.
He
But it's all
needed
a good fun.
He needed it. He needed it. He needed to know that he needs to improve.
It was the kind of criticism you don't get at school. It's, yeah.
We will be back
We will
for
be
part
back
2
next week. Bob Berdella.
Yes. We love you all. Have a great week.
You're
Fuck
talking
you.
so slow. Yeah. Do all that.